Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Narendra Manikrao Jathe, Head and Assistant Professor in Computer Science, Srimati Narsamma Art, Commerce and Science College, Kirannagar, Amravati. My roll number is 68. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, UGC Malviya Mission Training Center organize refresher course in e-governance, e-learning and LMS. Today's in micro teaching class, my topic is inheritance and their types. Reusability is one of the important features of object-oriented programming. Reusability means accessing ready-made properties from existing class to the new class. The mechanism, that is process of creating a new class from an existing class, is called as inheritance. In an inheritance, new class is called as derived class and the old class is called as base class. Inheritance allows one class to reuse attributes and methods to another class. It helps you to write clear, more efficient code by avoiding duplications. In inheritance, when we create a derived class publicly from the base class, then public data members and member function from the base class can be publicly derived into the. In inheritance, when we create a derived class publicly from the base class, then public member of the base class becomes public member of the derived class. So, object of the derived class can access the data member and member function from the own class as well as base class. Using inheritance, we can minimize the object creation of the base class. In inheritance, we can create object only for the object class. Hence, using inheritance, memory and length of the program can be minimized, so it improves the program efficiency. So, consider one example of a single inheritance. So, I have taken here one base class, and from this base class I have derived another class named as derived class. So, in the base class I have taken two data members A and B and two member functions set data and display. Now, defining this member function set data and display. So, from this base class again I have created one derived class named as derived. In this derived class I have taken private A and B data members and public get data and output member functions. In the main program I have taken one object from the derived class, that is X, and accessing member functions from the base class as well as derived class. So, there is no need to create object of the base class. So, another topic, that is types of inheritance. So, there are 5 types of inheritances, that is single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid hierarchical inheritance, and lastly hybrid inheritance. So, let us see one by one what is single inheritance. So, single inheritance is nothing but when we create a single class from the single derived class from the single base class, then such inheritance is called as single inheritance. So, suppose we consider A is an base class, B is an derived class, then from base class suppose we create another derived class, then in single inheritance object of the derived class B can access data member and member function from own class A as well as from own class B as well as from own class A. Second, multiple inheritance. When we create a single derived class from two or more than two base classes, then such inheritance is called as multiple inheritance. Suppose A is a base class 1, B is a base class 2 and C is a derived class. Then object of the derived class can access data member and member function from own class C as well as base class 1A and base class 2B. Third one, multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance is nothing but when we create a derived class from intermediate base class, then such inheritance is called as multi-level inheritance. Consider one example. E is a parent class and C is a child class. Then from grandfather class, parent class is created and from parent class, child class is created. Suppose A is a base class and B is a intermediate base class and C is a derived class. So intermediate base class is nothing but a such class which is created from base class as well as derived class. In multi-level inheritance, object of the derived class can access the data member and member functions from own class C as well as intermediate class B as well as base class A. Number 4, hierarchical inheritance. So when we create two or more than two derived classes from a single base class, then such inheritance is called as hierarchical inheritance. Consider an example. A is a base class, B is a derived class 1 and C is a derived class 2. Then in hierarchical inheritance, object of the derived class B can access data member and member function from own class B as well as base class A. Similarly, object of the derived class C can access data member and member functions from the own class derived class 2 C and base class A. And lastly, hybrid inheritance. So when we combine two or more than two inheritances in a single, then it is called as hybrid inheritance. In hybrid inheritance, we can combine hierarchical as well as multiple inheritance. When suppose A is a base class and B is a intermediate base class 1, C is a intermediate base class 2 and D is a derived class. Then in hybrid inheritance, derived class D can access data member and member functions from the own class D as well as intermediate base class 1. Similarly, object of the derived class D can access data member and member functions from the own class D as well as intermediate base class 2. Thank you. Thank you.